Sri Sai Ram. Hearty welcome to Sri Satya Sai Lok Seva Gurukulam. Science class. Chapter is chemical reactions and equations. The last part of this chapter. Let us see what we have studied in the previous class. Topics learned so far. We have seen about chemical equations. All the chemical reactions are represented by means of chemical equations. And these chemical equations will have symbols, formulas, is it not? And they should be balanced. And also you must write the physical state of matter. That's already you have seen. And also we have seen what is meant by balanced chemical equations. Number of atoms on the reactant side should be equal to number of atoms in the product side, or number of moles, or number of volumes in case of gases. And then the equation becomes balanced chemical equations. Also you have seen different types of chemical reactions. So only when reaction takes place you write the equations. Reactions consist mainly of what's called as chemical combination, and in chemical combination where there is a combination of two or more substances to become a new substance. We also studied about chemical decomposition, where a product or a compound is splits up into two or more substances. Chemical displacement, one metal reacting with the compound of the other to displace another metal. It is called chemical displacement. Also we have seen what is called as chemical double displacement, where there is exchange of radicals. So these are the four types of chemical reactions. Also you have listed out different reaction equations and balanced also. Already you studied. And last but not least, about oxidation and reduction. When one substance is oxidized, the other will be reduced, and vice versa. Means what? When one is reduced, other is oxidized. Together they are called as redox reactions. Red ox means reduction and oxygen. Together they are called as redox reactions. So these are the things we already seen in the previous classes. Now let us try to see the homework. I hope all of you have done it by this time. Okay, the first question is, identify the substances which are oxidized and substances that are reduced. So before that you must know what is oxidation. What is oxidation? Addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. That's what you have studied so far. Similarly, what is reduction? Addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen. Is it not? So let us see the answer for this. Here are three equations given. First one is hydrogen plus chlorine gives hydrogen chloride. And if you balance it, you get 2 here. So 2 hydrogen, 2Cl, 2Cl. That is a balanced equation. Here hydrogen is oxidized. When you say hydrogen is oxidized, chlorine is reduced. Why it is reduced? That is addition of hydrogen. Is it not? So when you say addition of hydrogen in its place, other one will be oxidized. So, hydrogen is oxidized. Even though there is no oxygen here, we call it as oxidation reaction. Coming to second equation, hydrogen becomes water. When hydrogen becomes water, what is added? Oxygen is added. So, we say hydrogen is oxidized. When hydrogen is oxidized, cupric oxide becomes copper. So, there is removal of oxygen. When there is removal of oxygen, we call it as copper oxide is reduced to copper. Very simple, na? All of you can make out, okay? Coming to third equation, zinc becoming zinc nitrate, silver nitrate becoming silver. So, we say zinc is oxidized because there is addition of a radical, namely nitrate radical. So, it becomes zinc nitrate. We say zinc is oxidized. When zinc is oxidized, silver nitrate is reduced. Okay. So, these are the first question, answers to the first question. Coming to the second question, balance the following chemical reactions, means chemical equations. So, reactions represented by the help of formulas or symbols are called as chemical equations with an arrow mark showing the product. So, you have to balance this now. Before balancing, you should know what are the elements present in the reactants. For example, here, what is Ca? Calcium. So, 1 Ca, 1 Ca, balanced. Then how many H? What is H? H is hydrogen. What is O? Oxygen. What is N? Nitrogen. You must make number of atoms to be equal on either side, right? So, here, as there is 2H here, only 1H here. So, you have to multiply it by 2. So, you have 2H. And you have got how many nitrogen? 2 nitrogen. So, now 2 nitrogen. How many oxygen? 2 3s are 6 plus 2 8. 3 2s are 6 plus 2 8. Now, the equation is balanced. And once again, what is CaOH twice? It is calcium hydroxide. You may note down. What is HNO3? Nitric acid. So, this is calcium hydroxide. That OH group represents hydroxide. Is it acid or a base? It is a base. And when it is added to water, it becomes alkali. So, calcium hydroxide. What is HNO3? Nitric acid. It belongs to acid group. So, when calcium hydroxide reacts with nitric acid, the salt of nitric acid are called nitrates. So, here it is calcium nitrate. Calcium nitrate plus H2O. What is H2O? All of you know it. It is water. Similarly, hydrogen sulfide plus sulfur dioxide. Here, if you balance it, see there is a H2 here, H2 here. S is 1 plus 1, 2 here. Here there is only 1. Is it not? So, what you must do? This you multiply by 2. You get 2S plus 1S, 3S. So, to make it balance it, you have to write 3S here. I am coming to H. Here there is 2H. Here there is 2H. But O is 2 here, O is 1 here. To balance this O, it multiply by 2. Now, in this process, what happens to H? H becomes 4. So, to balance that, you have to write 2 here. Now, See, how many H here? 4H. How many H here? 4H. How many S? 2S plus 1, 3S. O, 2, 2O. Okay. Now the equation is balanced. Okay. So that is the homework given in the previous class. And the last question is, what do you mean by exothermic reaction? Give an example. So answer is reactions in which heat is given out. And then you may ask, what about the equation with the heat is given, taken in? That is endothermic reaction. This is exothermic reaction. During product formation are called exothermic reaction. For example, when water is added to calcium oxide, quicklime, it gets converted into slaked lime. So calcium oxide, also called as quicklime. You might have seen your grandparents using those who have habit of eating betel leaves. Is it not? What they do? They bring some lime, quick lime from the market, put it in a usually earthen pot or any other waste pot. To that they add water and there will be evolution of heat. Evolution of heat. So calcium oxide becomes calcium hydroxide and that is, you call it as slaked lime. So we find that there will be boiling. When water is added, the lime start boiling and there will be lot of heat produced. So such reactions in which heat is given out are called exothermic reaction. You think of some more examples where heat is given out, okay, like that. And this is a very interesting thing you can do in experiment in home also and see how the reaction gives out heat, right? So this is the answer for the home assignment. Now today's topic, the first topic we are going to study is about redox reactions, just continuation of previous lesson. Oxidation and reduction reactions occur simultaneously, means together. So when one substance is oxidized, other substance is reduced. Okay, so the reactions together are called redox reaction. Here gain of electrons is reduction, loss of electrons is oxidation. Usually metals give out electrons, non-metals gain electrons in all reactions. So that is the third definition of oxidation reduction. Here definition is about electrons. So gain of electrons is reduction, loss of electrons is oxidation. To give an example, here zinc plus copper sulfate. What is the color of copper sulfate? Blue color. So what is the color of this zinc? Almost like white. So when this zinc is added to copper sulfate solution, this color changes. The blue color changes and the white zinc metal becomes copper, that is brown in color. A very interesting experiment. One more example you can think of. Iron oxide, ferric oxide, this is Fe2O3 plus 2Al gives Al2O3 plus 2Fe. Here element which is oxidized is aluminum. So aluminum becomes aluminum oxide, that is oxidation. Ferric oxide becomes iron. So it loses oxygen, therefore it is called as reduction, and this reaction is oxidation. When one is oxidation, other is reduction. You may think of so many people come to your house, right? So they will come and say, Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi, give us something. So what you have to do? You will see what are food material, some breakfast item, lunch item, whatever is there. You go and give, right? So when you give items, there must be somebody to take it, right? Is it not? So the giver and the taker act simultaneously. If nobody takes whatever you give, there is no meaning, right? So also here, element which is oxidized is aluminium, because aluminum becomes aluminum oxide, iron oxide becomes iron, and a compound which is reduced means ferric oxide is reduced, Fe2O3 also called as ferric oxide. And one more thing you must note, whichever substance reduces the other substance is called reducing agent. Here aluminium reduces ferric oxide, therefore aluminium is called reducing agent. The substance which oxidizes the other is called oxidizing agent. So ferric oxide oxidizes this. Is it clear? The substance which oxidizes the other, here it is ferric oxide which oxidizes aluminum into aluminum oxide. Therefore it is called as oxidizing agent. And aluminum is called reducing agent because it reduces iron oxide into iron. Okay. So this is a thing you must note. And what is the effect of this reaction in daily life? Always, you must know what is the purpose. Some of you will be waiting for the games period. When the bell is given for games period, what do? All of you rush to the ground, full of joy, with bat, ball, and all the things. Some with carom board, some with chess and all full of activity. Why? You like it, you enjoy it. Is it not? Nowadays, when you are in home, you will see cricket matches in home only. You will be waiting for that time. 7 o'clock means it starts. Because you enjoy that seeing of cricket, the shots they give and all. So you know the purpose. Similarly, here also in chemistry, you must know the purpose or how it is made use of in daily life. For example, here corrosion and rancidity. Rancidity usually in terms of food items, food becoming spoiled. Corrosion in case of metals. They are the results of redox reactions. Oxidizers like bleaching powder are used to bleach colored compounds to other substances which are not color. So bleaching powder is also called as calcium hypochlorite. And how you got it? It is nothing but passing of chlorine into calcium hydroxide solution you get. And also bleaching powder is also used as a disinfectant, which all of you know. In bathrooms, toilets and all, they use bleaching powder, and it destroys bacteria. And also mind it, don't use bleaching powder directly in hand. Should have a gloves, or you must have some other spoon or something like that. Directly you should not heat, you should not use it because it produces chlorine. Of course, for bacteria it is very good because it destroys bacteria. So in bathroom, toilets and all, they use this bleaching powder. And also you might have heard in the welding shops, You might have seen welding shop where the gates and all are made. There will be two cylinders, one of oxygen, another of acetylene, and together they are called as oxyacetylene. Acetylene formula C2H2. It is a organic compound belonging to alkyne group, which are going to study in organic chemistry. So there will be what are called as torches. You might have seen some welding shops, they use a mask, and there will be two torches, one of oxygen, another is of acetylene. Together when they mix, they give a very powerful flame. Why the flame is used? Is for welding and cutting of metals. For preparing gate, grill, etc. So many metals is to be cut. But mind it, it produces a very high temperature of the order of 3000 to 3500 degrees centigrade, which is very harmful for the eyes. What they do? They will have a cover, glass cover. You might have seen. They will have some torches like this, and wherever the welding is needed, they do with the torches. It is called torches here. So, and then that produces a very high temperature. That is also one example of daily life where the oxidation and reduction gases, reduction properties made use of. So, also you must know what is meant by corrosion. Corrosion is a destructive chemical process. There will be many processes are constructive, but this is destructive. It spoils. You might have seen in a home also, the windows, the doors, many items, especially in rainy season, not in summer, because this corrosion is a destructive chemical process in which metals are oxidized in presence of air and moisture. Not only air, the air must be moist air. Dry air will not do any corrosion. Only moist air will lead to corrosion. For example, rusting of iron, tarnishing of silver. Silver also gets some black material, formation of black things, and development of green coatings. For example, copper, if you keep for a long time in the moist air, it becomes green coating. All this, they are the destructive chemical processes. And what is the solution for this? It causes enormous damage to bridges, because in bridges there will be steel actually, nothing but the product of iron only. So if it gets rusted means it will be dangerous. In ships also, in cars also, and all the machines which are made up of iron or steel, because they contain major percentages of iron. So iron in the presence of air and moisture, gets rusted up. Now how to avoid this or how to control it? Preventing erosion is a big challenge for an industrially developing country like India. When crores and crores are invested on bridges, ships, and some lakhs in case of cars, if they get rusted, it will be a big problem, is it not? But anyway, there are some indigenous works. I visited Delhi. If any of you have visited Delhi, you might have seen one iron pillar that is near Qutub Minar, one of the famous towers built in the time of Qutubuddin Aibak. There is one iron pillar of Delhi which is about 6.5 tons in weight, that is 6,500 kgs, very heavy, which is about 23 feet high. Height is 23 feet, and It is about 1600 years old. Mind it, even though it is 1600 years old, it is not at all rusted. So why I am telling is, in those days, they used to build buildings or towers made up of a good quality. Here is one tower, the Iron Pillar of Delhi, very famous near Qutub Minar, which is 1600 years old, but not rusted. It is a challenge for scientists now. How it is not rusted, why it is not rusted like that. But anyway, in those days the people were so devoted, people were so hardworking, even though they have not studied any of chemistry and all, they have learned practical chemistry. Okay, so this is about rusting of iron. For that, one small activity will do. In this activity, we will take 3 beakers, namely A, B and C. You can also do in your home also. Through glass beakers, 3 glass beakers you might take. And you have to take iron nails. So these are in iron nails. And these iron, in the first case, there is no water. They are simply kept in the beaker but covered with a watch glass. The second beaker, about 50% of beaker contains water. So 50% of the nails is covered with water, but there is no cover. The third beaker is fully drowned. You have to pour water such that all the nails are immersed in it, and it should be covered with watch glass. Look at the figure once again. The first A and C, there is covering with watch glass. Why it should be covered? To cut off presence of oxygen. Here there is neither oxygen nor water, so it is not rusted. Here there is water, but there is no oxygen. Again, it is not rusting. In this case, there is oxygen also, water also, and hence it gets rusted. So what is rusting of iron? Rusting of iron is a process when iron comes in contact with moist air. Moist air means what? Air filled with water. Here there is water also is there, air also is there, and that is why it gets rusted. Then you can think, what is the solution for this? Solution is painting or cleaning with sandpaper or putting some oil and all that. So that is what they do in home also. So this is a very simple experiment, but very interesting also. But this should be kept for a few days. And so what does the experiment show? Observation. After 3 days, you have to keep the experiment for 3 days. The changes in the 3 beakers are to be observed. The nails in beaker A and C, the first and the last, are not affected. Nails in beaker B gets rusted. So what do you infer or what do you conclude? Conclusion is, rusting of iron takes place in moist air as seen in beaker B. So this is one of the causes of the rusting of iron. This is a destructive chemical reaction, what you observe, but only in case of metals like silver or iron or copper, etc. So how to prevent the corrosion? That is plating the metal with metals like nickel or chromium, which keeps out air and moisture to avoid corrosion. Coating must be given. Secondly, galvanization, process of coating with zinc over iron, which is more easily oxidized. Or you can say applying a protective coating such as painting. You might have seen in your house all the windows will be painted. Before painting, what they do? They take sandpaper and rub, is it not? So that all rust is removed. Then only they paint it, right? So painting is one solution. Coating of zinc is the second solution. Third one is nickel or chromium also is to be plating on the metal like that of iron. So this is how corrosion is prevented, especially in the rainy season you find that. For example, these are the rusted one. This is called nut and bolt. This is called bolt, this is called nut, which is rusted. If you keep the iron material, in open air, especially in rainy season, this is what happens. So what is the solution? This is the solution. You have to clean with a sandpaper, put some paint on that, then it will not be rusted. And one more disadvantage. In the case of redox reaction, what you find is called rancidity, that you find in the food. Food ingredients like fats and oil kept for long time undergo oxidation and become rancid. This property or this change is called rancidity. Of course, that is why the oil or the ghee, the dalda and all, the lids must be tightly packed, because if it is loosely capped, there will be oxygen go inside and substance become rancid. There will be a bad smell coming, especially with case of oil or ghee or dalda, etc. So it is oxidation of fats or oils results in the formation of acids. These acids give unpleasant smell and bad taste. Many food items are kept in airtight containers. To avoid that, to avoid this rancidity, it is covered with airtight containers. That is one thing. Secondly, antioxidants to prevent oxidation are added to food items containing fats and oils. Usually they use some catalyst like that of nickel. Okay, so by adding catalyst or using catalyst, for example, in the case of dalda, vegetable oils, to avoid this rancidity, they use some catalyst or promoters. So, for example, you might have seen the Lay's, Kurkure, etc. They are very famous nowadays in the market, but avoid eating that. Then you may say, so attractive sir, so tasty and all that you may say. All that is attractive and tasty will not be good for health, because they are made up of chemicals. So what they do is, the bags, flush bags, the small bags of chips are filled with nitrogen gas. What is that gas? For retaining for a long time, to prevent oxidation of oil present in chips. Chips means what you eat. So like Lay's, Kurkure and all, they are all kind of food items. For retaining them, they add what is called as nitrogen gas. So this rancidity is also one of the ways where this food is spoiled. So that can be avoided by using airtight containers, or by using some catalyst. In case of the food items of the daily use, we use nitrogen gas for retaining them. Even you might have seen soda. What they do for soda to retain for long time, they add some gas. Even your soft drinks, there will be carbon dioxide. The gas is added, for that it comes for a longer time. Okay. So that is what is called as rancidity. Now coming to home assignment, we have the first question. Give 2 examples from everyday life situations where redox reactions takes place. How will you prove it? Following reactions name the substances that are oxidized and reduced. Also mention the oxidizing and reducing agents. Oxidizing agent is one which oxidizes the other. Reducing agent is the one which reduces the other substance. So, you have to give name the agents also. The third question, so in that this is an example. Here you must tell which is oxidized, which is reduced, and also you must say which is oxidizing agent, which is reducing agent. Last question, what is rusting of iron? How it can be prevented? Okay, come prepared with that homework answers. I hope all of you will be ready with the answers next class. Thank you.